In the past 7 years, we have followed in the footsteps of King Hintsa, King Shaka, King Mushweshwe, Queen Nzinga, Queen Mujaji, King Skukuni, and are determined to complete the fight of our ancestors to defend our land. We are a movement that has revolved that we must break the hypnotizing of 1994 that has made us accept a fake unity in this country while our economy remains in the hands of our oppressors. Fellow fighters, today we celebrate an organization that carries the struggle for land in its blood, to commemorate 7 years of fearlessness and dedication to the cause for economic freedom. We have been through great challenges and great successes, but we declare without fear or favor that the EFF will make it to a decade of championing the struggle of our people and defending the dignity of a black child. Comrades, the economic freedom fighters is a product of history and the struggle of our people. Our continent is one that is bruised and scarred by colonial domination, imperial exploitation, and the rampant corruption of those who have trusted to change our lives for the better. We are a product of a history of violent disruption in the life of Africa. In 1652, the first colonialists arrived to decide that they have a right to dominate us in our own land. An arrogant race of people arrived in South Africa and assumed themselves as superior, taking advantage of kindness of our people and disrupting African life. We trace the problem we face today of economic dispossession and a minority that undermines black people to those early days, when our race thought of itself as a superior because of their color of their skin. Instead of engaging humanly with those they encountered, engaging in fair trade and building good relations with African people, colonialists resolved that we are less than human because of the color of our skin and the different ways in which we organize our society. It is for this reason why we were enslaved and our land violently taken from us by a civilization that thought it could decide who is human and who is not. Today, the legacy of arrogance haunts us in our workplaces, in our streets, and in the character of our economy.
The EFF leader accused government of not having the capacity to lead the country. He says that government did not use the opportunity provided by the lockdown to distribute digital learning material to public schools and develop adequate infrastructure.
Ramaphosa closes schools as a public stunt and based on temporary fear instead of science. Typical of him and his lack of being able to assess the behavior of this pandemic, he has chosen to close schools for 3 weeks and 1 week for matriculants without any scientific evidence that there will be a decrease in cases and death by that time. Ramaphosa is doing nothing but giving his cronies a fresh opportunity to apply for PPE tenders and once again give schools sanitizers with low alcohol content and inferior masks, a level of corruption that must be read as a human rights violation. There is no infrastructure development that will be done in public schools during this time, and the storm of the coronavirus will affect the lives of young black children the most. Most painfully, the apartheid character of our schooling system is exposed, as private schools which have had the advantage of digital learning will continue to not be affected. The consequences of this are that the privileged will continue to have an advantage in entering institutions of higher learning and job market. The rich will continue to be educated while the poor will succumb to substance abuse and neglect. Ramaphosa's government has not used the opportunity provided by the lockdown to distribute digital learning material to public schools and develop adequate infrastructure. And this must prove to us that this government no longer has the capacity to lead this country.
Well, earlier, SABC News, my colleague Blaine Herman spoke to political analyst Dr.